What's going on, everyone? It's Nick, and before we begin, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Today is going to be one of my unedited NBA recaps video, Kenny for Real style, or King of the Fourth Quarter style, whichever you want to call it. And I got my Jerry West jersey back there because the Lakers wore those jerseys today. Unfortunately, it didn't go so well. I'm going to talk about that and the Bucks-Raptors game. I took some notes while watching the Bucks-Raptors game. And in the Lakers game, I didn't take notes, but I don't think I really need to. But some notes from the Raptors-Bucks game. The first one is that, of course, there was no Kyle Lowry and that the Raptors were going small, starting Pascal at the 5. And early on, the Raptors were making their threes. The Bucks were not. And Giannis even airballed a 3. And at the half, Giannis was 4 of 8, but also had 3 turnovers, and he finished the game with 5 turnovers. And the wall defense, once again, and the Bucks still haven't figured out how to attack the wall defense, because that seems to still work very effectively even now. And while, yes, Giannis did score 23 points in this game, that's still pretty low for his standards, and he was only 8 for 20. And yeah, it really looked like the Raptors were making him uncomfortable all game. And another note I wrote is that Siakam's mid-range shots been on point, and yeah, I have Siakam as my player of the game, and Norman Powell, or actually between Norman Powell and Pascal Siakam, I think you could go either way on this one. But okay, moving on, I also said, and I've been saying this for a long time now, fire Mike Budenholzer. He definitely needs to go at this point. Yes, he was a big upgrade over Jason Kidd, but that's not saying much. And he's been looking like a great regular season coach, but he's been exposed in the playoffs, and this year he's just not doing well at all. I understand Drew Holiday's not playing right now. He's been out for the last, I don't know how many games, at least 5, maybe 6. I don't remember, but he's been out for a while, but still, the team needs to be held accountable. And it starts with Mike Budenholzer. And another thing, before you come at me with the Rusty Buckets ripoff thing, I know I've heard him say this because I watch his videos, and I agree with what he says here about the fact that they need to use Giannis more in the pick and roll and also not have him as the main ball handler, because let's be real, Giannis is not a great ball handler and he's not a great playmaker either. He just tends to look like one at times because of his really long strides and his ability to beat other guys down the court and overpower other players, but he's really not a great ball handler and should not be your primary ball handler. And it took until the end of the game for the Bucks to run a play where he was not the primary ball handler. Something's got to change. And like Mike Budenholzer, okay, I'll just make this clear. He's not the worst coach in the NBA, but his main problem is that he's way too stubborn, and he's got to start changing things up. So that is 5 straight losses for the Bucks now. Now move on to the Lakers game. And yeah, LeBron was pretty much a one-man show. Well, Kyle Kuzma played well, though. He had 16 points and 10 rebounds. And LeBron, 32 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists on 14 from 23 from the field. Although only 3 of 6 from the free throw line and only 1 of 6 from 3. Although I also felt early on in the season that LeBron shooting like 40% from 3 was not sustainable. Now he's down to 37.8% from 3. And it'll probably be around 34% to finish the season. When I found out the Lakers will not have Dennis Schroeder either, while we already know they don't have Anthony Davis because of his calf strain, I felt like this is an opportunity for him to really push his MVP narrative. And while his numbers definitely help, the fact that they didn't get the win, that doesn't really help at all. But hopefully Dennis Schroeder will be back next game. And before people say it, I'm aware that the Nets did not have Kevin Durant, okay? Before people start saying that I'm trying to make excuses, I know the Nets didn't have Kevin Durant and they would much rather have him than not. But LeBron, yeah, he definitely could have used more help. So could the Nets with Kevin Durant, but point still stands, LeBron could have used more help. Wesley Matthews, only 2 points. KCP still struggling. Talen Horton-Tucker, 9 points, only 3 of 9 though, and I like Talen Horton-Tucker, and he's been a really nice steal for this team. However, he tends to drive to the basket with tunnel vision a little too much. And I know he's young, it's something he could work on. I'd like to have him work on that more because it's too many times where he just attacks the basket with tunnel vision. Marcus Gasol is actually slowly starting to shoot better from 3, but I'm still not as high on getting him as I was at the time. Not that I expected him to be a great scorer. He scored 8 points in this game. That's about what I expected, but still, he's too slow, and defensive analytics may be on his side, but I feel like that's really fishy. He just looks really slow out there. If you actually watch the games, then yeah, you could tell that he hasn't really been as great on defense as the analytics would say, or even close to it. Caruso, only 2 points, 1 of 5, although he made some really nice hustle plays, and that's what we should always expect out of Caruso. He's not exactly the most talented player, but he's a great defender, and he makes hustle plays. And Montrezl Harrell, 10 points off the bench, but he's as effective as a cardboard cutout protecting the rim. And he could take charges, and he could block guards attacking the basket. And did he have a block in this game? No, he didn't. But when you have him guard a forward or a center or put him in a pick and roll situation, he's toast. And we knew this for a while. We knew this even before he became a Laker. We knew this when he was on the Clippers. He's just undersized. He's not big enough to be a rim protector. And yeah, Quinn Cook, he scored 7 points on 3 of 5 from the field. But yeah, we'd definitely much rather have Dennis Schroeder getting those minutes than have Quinn Cook in there at all. Well, okay, Schroeder plays starter minutes, we know. Okay. And what else? Yeah, Joe Harris couldn't miss from 3. Kyrie didn't exactly have a great game, but I would say the player of the game was James Harden with his 23 points and 11 assists, and yeah, he's really stepped it up as a playmaker. I'm pretty sure he is leading the league in assists right now, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, let me check. Yep, he is leading the league in assists right now. It's been quite surprising to see that he's actually sacrificed scoring as much as he has. And the fact that he's actually the 3rd leading scorer on his team right now, that's crazy, isn't it? But it's because he's become a facilitator and he's not forcing offense like he used to in Houston. Not to say that he wasn't good at it. He was great at it. He was consistently scoring 34 to 36 points per game for the Rockets, but it also wasn't championship basketball, obviously. And yeah, the Nets shot 46% from 3. The Lakers only 27% from 3. And yeah, that was something that we could have guessed anyways. Maybe not the exact numbers, but if you watch the game, yeah, the Nets were making it rain from 3. The Lakers were constantly bricking from 3. And in terms of rebounds, they actually both teams had 39. And yeah, the Lakers had 3 more turnovers. And surprisingly, the Lakers actually did have a lot more points in the paint than the Nets did. Although, that can also be explained by the fact that the Nets were going small for a lot of the game. They had Jeff Green start at center. But still, it's not like the Lakers really did a good job protecting the paint. And they definitely need Anthony Davis for that. I agree with Charles Barkley. And I think everyone does. This is probably one of the rare times he didn't say something controversial that If the Lakers don't have Anthony Davis healthy, they have no shot at making the finals. So hopefully he does get healthy soon. And you know what though? While it sucks to not have him out there, at the same time, I'd much rather take a hit in the standings than risk having him suffer a career altering injury. And as soon as he went out against Denver, I already worried that the Lakers may have rushed him back, and it made me think, oh no, no, no. But thankfully, at least for now, it's not as bad as we feared. And while I did not watch the Heat Kings game because I was watching the Lakers game, I guess I'll just briefly talk about that. And I can see that the Heat got a much needed win after two really bad losses. I did actually watch the Warriors Heat game yesterday, and Steph Curry for most of the game was breaking everything, but then he came through in the clutch. And also Kelly Oubre and Andrew Wiggins, they played well for the Warriors too. And the Heat right now, they're still only the 11th seed in the East. And I think that they just really miss Jay Crowder. I was saying though during the Warriors Heat game though that the Warriors really could use Draymond because he still has those intangibles like we've been talking about all year. Even if he's not able to score like he was able to before. And they definitely missed him. Okay, so about that Warriors Heat game where the Warriors made a huge comeback. Just a little bit about that. Yeah, Bam had 24 points in that game, and in this game, he had 16. Bam had a triple-double against the Kings. 16 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. So, hey, Bam Adebayo, he's only missed a couple games. The Heat have had a ton of injuries, and also the virus really affected them. But Bam has only missed 2 games, and he's been playing really well. In fact, he's definitely made a jump from last year. He's almost scoring 20 points per game, and he has 9 rebounds per game. And he's got a mid-range game going for him now. And Jimmy Butler had his 3rd straight triple-double. He had a 30-point triple-double against the Clippers, but then against the Warriors and Kings, only 13 points. And for the Kings, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say his name. I don't watch enough Kings games. Nemanja Bjelica. If I botch that, let me know in the comments. But it looks like he was their player of the game with 25 points. De'Aaron Fox didn't really do much. Well, he had 10 assists, but only 11 points on 5 of 12 from the field. And Buddy Hield played terrible, just 2 of 10 from the field. But yeah, I'm just looking at the box score for this game because I didn't actually watch. Yesterday, I did watch the Magic and Knicks game, and other than Julius Randle, it looked like the Knicks were shooting the ball as if there was a hex in the rim, especially Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickly. It was just an ugly game for the Knicks. And defensively, they gave up 30 points to Terrence Ross. That should never happen. And hopefully Mitchell Robinson can get healthy soon. The Knicks could definitely use him for rim protection. Nerlens Noel isn't bad, but clearly Mitchell Robinson's a lot better. And Michael Carter-Williams even got to the rim a couple of times, and you definitely cannot let that happen. Although the Knicks are still the 7th seed in the East, and that's still way better than we expected. Their offense still needs a lot of work, though, but their defense has been excellent this year, as we've talked about before. They're still the 3rd best defense in the league. Just hopefully Mitchell Robinson can get healthy, and Hopefully they can score more than 89 points in their next game. But yeah, we're not expecting big things out of their offense because their offense just hasn't been good at any point this year. And their game against the Spurs is actually postponed. Their next game is against the Timberwolves. So, oh yeah, and I also did watch the end of the Bulls Pistons game. Jeremy Grant, serious contender for most improved player. Same with Julius Randle though, but hey, Jeremy Grant had 43 points. But Zach LaVine, if this guy is not an all-star in your eyes, I don't know what you're watching. He's averaging, 29 points per game, I think, on by far the best efficiency of his career. And while Coby White didn't have a good game for the most part, he did hit a clutch shot in overtime. So those were all the games I only watched the very end of the Pistons-Bulls game. But that's all that I was able to watch. What I didn't watch is Hawks beating the Celtics. And yeah, the Celtics have been a disappointment this year. And the Wizards are on a 3-game winning streak now. Maybe they're not as bad as what they looked like early on in the season. Although they're still not making a deep playoff run. We all know that. In fact, we only expected them to be a bottom-seeded playoff team to begin with. But okay, they're not playing bad right now. They're on a 3-game winning streak. And I didn't get to watch the Blazers-Pelicans game, but hey, they're actually winning games without CJ McCollum, without Yusuf Nurkic. I don't think Damian Lillard's going to win MVP, but he definitely deserves some MVP talk for how the Blazers are doing without those guys. Now, their defense is horrible. Their defense is only ranked, It's definitely towards the bottom. It's 29th, second to last. But their offense is just so good. It's 5th right now in the NBA. And I predicted before the season started that Damian Lillard will make the All-NBA first team. As much as most of my predictions are looking like they're going to be wrong, this is one where I might be able to say I told you so. Although I also had Luka winning MVP, so my guards were Luka and Dame. It's looking more like Dame and Steph right now for the guards on the All-NBA first team. Alright, I'm already over 17 minutes, so I don't want to keep you around for much longer. Okay, I'm about to hit 18 minutes, but if you are still here, thank you so much. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you next time. Also, let me know if I didn't cover your team. If you want me to talk about your team in my next NBA recaps video, let me know. I'll see you next time.